Hey there. In the world of international business, something as simple as saying thank you can get, well, pretty complicated. Today, we're going to look at why receiving praise is handled so differently across cultures and how we can all understand each other a little better. So, let me ask you something. Someone gives you a big compliment on your work. What do you say? Is it best to kind of brush it off and say, oh, no, it was nothing special? Well, the answer isn't as simple as you might think. Let's find out why by looking at a real life story. Okay, to really get what's going on here, let me tell you a story. It's about a guy named Ken who's from Japan and his American boss. And trust me, this kind of thing happens all the time in global companies. So picture this. Ken just nailed a huge project. I mean, he did an amazing job. His American boss is thrilled, walks up to him and says, "You are a legend. These results are amazing." That's a really big compliment in English. So what does Ken say back? He says, "I am unprofessional and still have a lot to learn." Now, where he comes from, this isn't him putting himself down. It's actually the polite and humble thing to say. But his boss, he hears something completely different. He's just confused. He's not hearing humility. He's hearing, well, a lack of confidence. He's probably thinking, why is he so insecure? I thought he did great. So what just happened? It was a classic miscommunication, all because of a cultural difference. Let's dig into why this happens. We can call it the humility gap. You see, in Japan, being humble is a really big deal. It means you don't boast about your skills. So when someone compliments you, saying something like, no, is a way to show you're modest. Ken was just doing what felt natural and right in his culture. But, and this is a big but, in a lot of Western business settings, that same response is seen in a totally different light. When you reject a compliment, it can make it seem like you're not confident, like you don't even believe your own work was good. To make this even clearer, let's put these two views side by side. Understanding both sides is really the key here to avoiding these kinds of problems. Yeah, check this out. It really breaks it down, right? In Japan, rejecting praise shows you're modest. In fact, just saying thank you might even sound a little arrogant. But on the flip side, in many English-speaking countries, accepting praise is seen as professional, and rejecting it, like we saw with Ken, can make you seem like you lack confidence. And this is a really important point. This isn't just some small detail. This kind of difference can cause some serious misunderstandings. Think about it. Ken's boss was confused, and I'm sure Ken didn't feel great about it either. It just makes working together feel awkward. But here's the good news. There's actually a pretty simple way to fix this. Let's talk about how you can handle these moments and make the conversation go smoothly. Okay, so here's a super simple 3-step guide for what to do when you get a compliment in an English-speaking workplace. Step 1, just say thank you. Step 2, maybe add a short positive comment. And step 3, just move on to the next topic. Easy, right? For instance, you could say something like, "Thank you, I'm glad to hear that. It's perfect, it's simple, it's positive, and it's polite." It shows you accept the compliment without sounding like you're bragging. So why does that work so well? Well, because it's doing two important things at once. First, it shows you're grateful for the nice words, but it also shows that you're confident about your work. And that's how you really build trust with your team and your boss. All right, so let's pull all this together. What's the big takeaway here? Just remember, understanding these small cultural differences can make a huge, positive difference in your professional life. So, let's do a quick recap. We learned that in Japan, turning down praise is a way to be modest, but in the West, accepting it shows you're a professional. So to avoid any confusion in a global setting, it's usually best to just accept the compliment. And really, a simple thank you is often the perfect way to do it. And that brings me to one last question for you. Learning how to take a compliment is just one piece of the puzzle. It makes me wonder, what other small cultural rules do you think are really important to know when you're working with people from all over the world? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.